So here, the next chapter which we are going to discuss is respiration. Last year in 11th standard, we studied respiration in plants. Here, this year we are going to study respiration in animals. But here, respiration in plants or otherwise in animals, the concept remains the same. The process remains the same. And hence, here, all living organisms, they require energy for various metabolic activities. Metabolic activities like cell division, it may be the growth, maybe the repair process, maybe the locomotion and so on. So all such activities, they require energy. So what is energy? Energy is nothing but it is the capacity to do work. So for the same, we get energy from organic nutrients like carbohydrates. We get energy from fats, those are lipids. We get energy from proteins. So last year we studied the respiration as the floating respiration, the protoplasmic respiration. Do you know the difference between the floating and that of protoplasmic respiration? Here, the organic matter, the organic nutrients like carbohydrates. Example of carbohydrate, sugars. Where the second as the lipids or the fats as the organic matter when is used to get energy. The process which happens with respect to them is a floating respiration. Means, what is the substrate? The substrate, the substance which is used for liberating or releasing energy. Such type of the substrate when is used to release energy, the respiration is floating. Whereas what is protoplasmic respiration then? When the substrate used is proteins. As well, last year we also discussed the respiration as aerobic, the respiration as anaerobic. Before that, all living organisms when require energy, we take it in the form of nutrients. But these nutrients in the body are found to be unusable. So, the process which makes the conversion of this unusable organic matter into usable energy is nothing. This conversion, this process is nothing but called as respiration. Otherwise, these nutrients which provide energy and that too when are present in the body, they are in the form of the energy. The energy is potential energy because it is stored, isn't it, in the body? But when it sets in motion for various activities, the energy is converted from one form to another. So here, in this chapter, we are going to discuss the process of respiration. Now, what is respiration? Respiration is a biological oxidation process, right? What is biological oxidation process? I mean, as just now I told you, the various nutrients out of which if you use carbohydrates as a substrate, from 1 gram of carbohydrate, when you use it, when you consume, you get 4.5 kilocalories of energy. So the main food stuff which provides energy is carbohydrate. Next to that of the carbohydrates, where the lipids are the food substances. When you consume 1 gram of lipid, it gives you 9.5 kilocalories of energy, right? With that of, when you will use 1 gram of protein, it will give you 4 kilocalories of energy. So, all such food stuff, they are the material which provides energy. And from this food material, the energy which is obtained is in the form of chemical energy. This chemical form of energy is ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. So the main food stuff which provides energy is carbohydrate. But when you will observe, when we will compare with that of lipids, lipids give you twice the energy as compared to carbohydrates, right? But here we do not have more amount of lipids in our food, because it consists of, it will give the deposition of cholesterol. The cholesterol will get accumulated in the body, but here the cholesterol may be the good cholesterol, or otherwise it may be the bad cholesterol. Though it gives more amount of energy, we do not use it as a main source of energy. So we Indians have 60% of carbohydrates in our diet, in our food, which provides you energy. As well, proteins will give you 4 kilocalories of energy. But here, now my question is, what do you mean by, what is the definition of respiration? Where just now I explained here, it is the biological oxidation process in which the biological food in the form of C6, H12O6 is sugar, glucose, hexose sugar. When you will add 6 molecules of oxygen, the oxidation process will take place. So biological oxidation process takes place, and in this process, step by step, the main product is energy. Energy is produced as a main product, and with this energy, the byproducts too balance the reaction. The 6 molecules of CO2 and the 6 molecules of water are given out. These given out are the byproducts. What should be the main product? The main product of biological oxidation process is energy. This energy is in the form of ATP. So this energy as ATP is stored in the sugar molecule as in between this carbon-carbon bond. Here is the energy stored at the covalent bond. So this ATP as adenosine triphosphate is the energy in the form of chemical. This chemical energy is used as to perform various activities. So when one molecule of glucose is completely oxidized, it gives you 38 molecules of ATP. How many molecules of ATP you will get from one molecule of glucose? These are 68 molecules of 38 molecules of ATP. So these 38 molecules of ATP are given from a single molecule of glucose. So here in this ATP as adenosine triphosphate, last year if you remember, we have observed the structure of ATP, in which one molecule of ATP is one molecule is AMP, which consists of monophosphate. The other as ADP is diphosphate. The third molecule we studied it as ATP as a triphosphate. What are their efficiencies? The efficiency AMP is equal to how much amount of? 3.4 kilocalories. How much is ADP? It is 7.3 kilocalories. ATP, it is 7.3 kilocalories. So on complete oxidation of one glucose molecule, how much amount of energy is liberated? The energy produced is 38 as a main product. The byproducts are 6 molecules of carbon dioxide with 6 molecules of water, but that too they are in the form of water vapors. And here in this chapter, as we are discussing human respiration, so human respiration when compared with that of animal respiration, when compared with that of plant respiration, respiration remains the same, but the ways are different. Because here, one question I want to ask. Last year we studied aerobic and anaerobic respiration. We are the organisms as dominant animals on the earth. What type of respiration we show? Yes, we go for aerobic respiration. Now my question is, do we show anaerobic respiration? Yes? No? If no, why not? And if yes, what is that? Actually, we respire aerobic as well as anaerobically. Mainly we respire aerobically because we require oxygen. But when you will climb upstairs, climbing upstairs shows as you will go towards the hilly regions, the amount of oxygen will decrease. And when there is insufficient amount of oxygen, what will happen? The cramps will be developed in the muscles. What are these cramps? Actually, accumulation of lactic acid takes place. So lactic acid is the product of anaerobic respiration. Means we go for aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration. The respiration again is obligatory. The respiration is facultative. Last year we studied what is facultative, what is obligatory. We studied what is aerobic, what is anaerobic respiration. We also discussed the respiration as in plants. The process happens the same but differs. In the form of animals, they breathe, and by breathing they show the exchange of gases takes place. In animals this process happens, but what about plants? Do plants consist of the respiratory system? Do they have nose? They have trachea? Do they have lungs? Not at all. So what is the difference between the plant respiration and that of animal respiration? They differ in the process of breathing. Breathing is the first step towards respiration, where exchange of the gases takes place. No doubt, exchange of the gases even happens in the plants also, but the organs they differ. So here, in animals, breathing process happens, and in the plants there is no breathing. But how can the exchange of gases takes place? In plants, exchange of gases happens through the stomata. Stomatas are present in leaves. No doubt, the main function of stomata is transpiration. But even they help in the process of exchange of gases. The second, in the plants, they consist of the lenticles, the minute pores, the holes are present on the roots, on the stem. So those lenticles make the exchange of gases. The third, with that of lenticles, there is a cuticle. Through this cuticle, the process of exchange of gases takes place. So this makes the difference between the respiration as breathing process is observed in animals that is absent in plants. But now, if we speak about the animals, depending upon the habitat of the animals, what is habitat? The dwelling place. According to the dwelling place, different animals, they have different organ system for the process of respiration. So here is, in your textbook, see this page number 154. Here is the chart given. In the chart is the organism, their habitat, their respiratory organs are given. So if you observe this chart, last year we had studied classification of animals. Animals are classified as chordates and that of non-chordates. All organisms are living organisms. Here, on the basis of the habitat, the organ system, the organs are different. So here comes, the first one are the protists. Those are the sponges which belong to porifera. Those are the coelentrates. All such organisms, they are found to be aquatic. Yes, they live in water. So, what are the organs of respiration? Actually, these are the creatures which are very simple organisms, which were evolved for the first time on the earth. So, all the systems in those animals are not developed. And therefore, what are the organs of respiration? It is a plasma membrane through general body surface. The process of exchange of gases happens for the respiration. Then, the second are the organisms like flatworms. Those are the planarians. Those are the annelids like earthworm. Those are the animals like amphibians. Their example is frog. All such organisms are found to be aquatic. They may be semi-aquatic because frog can live in water as well as on land. So here is, they may respire by the general body surface as plasma membrane. Here the surface as the skin, because the skin consists of glands and the glands are found to be providing moistness. And therefore, this frog, when is found in water, they respire with the help of, yes, skin. And when on land, then they respire with the help of lungs. Well, the next are the insects. Insects, they belong to Arthropoda. The phylum is Arthropoda. And these arthropodas, these insects are terrestrial, which live on land. Example, the very best example you can take it here is cockroach. Cockroach is an insect. So, on the body, on the abdomen, they consist of the minute pores or the openings which are called as spiracles. So, they respire with the help of trachea, they respire with the help of spiracles. Then, the next are the arachnids. These are arachnids are spider. Example, spider. Here, those may be the scorpions and spiders. They are also terrestrial, but they consist of book lungs. Book lungs refers to the organs of respiration. Where the next are the organisms like arthropods, which are limulus, are aquatic. They also respire by book lungs. Then, in this way, you can read this entire chart, and towards the last, you can see these are the reptiles and birds and mammals which are terrestrial. The organs of respiration are lungs. So this chart is going to be very, very important. Go through the chart. The questions here may be from for your need for CT. So this chart will help you. The organisms, their habitat and the organs of respiration. All of you once will go through the chart. Okay?